Okay, so today the topic of our lecture is on the cyanosis. Okay, so what you understand by cyanosis, this is a term which you must have often heard. Okay, so it's a very important concept. So what is cyanosis? Cyanosis is basically a bluish discoloration of the skin and mucous membranes. I'll just show you. Look at these pictures. So here, okay, look at here. See here it is the bluish discoloration. Can you see the bluish discoloration of the mucous membranes? Okay, so here this is the bluish discoloration of the skin. So this is what is called as cyanosis. Okay, this is the bluish discoloration of the skin, okay, and of the mucous membranes. Now, why does this bluish discoloration occur of the skin and of the mucous membranes? If you compare these two, you can understand this has got a pinkish color and this has got a bluish color. This cyanosis. Cyanosis has occurred. Okay. So, what is responsible for the cyanosis? The cyanosis is mainly because due to an increased amount of reduced hemoglobin. Okay, so when there is an increased amount of reduced hemoglobin, this reduced hemoglobin amount, when it is more than 5 grams per dl, it causes cyanosis. Or if there is any abnormal hemoglobin means methemoglobin, okay, self-methemoglobin. Okay, so these abnormal hemoglobins, when they are present in the circulation, it also causes cyanosis. Right now, the cyanosis, it is broadly divided into two types. Okay, this you should know. One is your central cyanosis, another is your peripheral cyanosis. Now, the reason, the causes of these two type of cyanosis is different, as well as by looking at the patient also you can understand whether the patient has got central cyanosis or peripheral cyanosis. So what are the reasons of central cyanosis? It is due to decreased oxygen saturation. Okay, so when the amount of oxygen which is present in the blood, that is less, okay, it is decreased oxygen saturation. Remember, when there is decreased oxygen saturation in the blood, when the tissues, okay, they are not receiving adequate amount of oxygen due to decreased oxygen saturation in the blood, there occurs central cyanosis. So what happens in central cyanosis? In central cyanosis, remember, both the mucous membranes as well as the skin, it is involved. Whereas in peripheral cyanosis, only the skin is involved. Okay, so the mucous membranes, this oral cavity mucous membrane, this is a picture of central cyanosis. In peripheral cyanosis, the mucous membranes of the oral cavity, okay, or those beneath the tongue, okay, so they are not involved, right? In central cyanosis, again, the tongue is affected. In peripheral cyanosis, the tongue is not affected, okay? In central cyanosis, clubbing is present, clubbing. Okay, so clubbing is present. Okay, so in central cyanosis. In peripheral cyanosis, clubbing is absent. Similarly, polycythemia present in central cyanosis. Peripheral cyanosis, polycythemia is absent. Okay, now in these patients, still if you are confused whether it's a central cyanosis or peripheral cyanosis, central cyanosis patients, if we give them oxygen inhalation, pure 100% oxygen inhalation, okay, so if they breathe pure oxygen for 10 minutes, you'll find that the cyanosis will disappear. It may disappear, not it will disappear, it may disappear. Okay, so because like if the oxygen saturation is very low, then it might not disappear. Okay, so if the patient is told to, most of the cases it disappears if you give the patient pure oxygen inhalation. Peripheral cyanosis, even after inhalation of pure oxygen, the cyanosis will not disappear. Why such thing is happening in peripheral cyanosis? Because I'll tell you the reason. Because as just now I told you, in central cyanosis, it is because of low oxygen saturation. But peripheral cyanosis, the main reason is because of the diminished peripheral blood flow. There are many reasons, okay, shock, or too much of cold exposure, or Raynaud's disease, okay, or any peripheral vascular disease, okay, so which causes reduced amount of blood in the peripheries. Okay, maybe the oxygen saturation is okay, the oxygen saturation is okay in these peripheral cyanotic patients, but the amount of blood which is reaching the peripheral organs, that is very low, maybe due to some peripheral vascular disease, or excess exposure to cold, Raynaud's disease, heart failure. The the oxygen is not reaching the peripheral organs. Okay, so therefore, even if you give oxygen, pure oxygen inhalation, this peripheral cyanosis is not going to disappear. Okay, so these are some basic differences between central and peripheral cyanosis. I repeat once again, central cyanosis, this is mainly because of decreased oxygen saturation, or it is because of abnormal hemoglobin. Decreased oxygen saturation, there can be many causes of decreased oxygen saturation, like there can be cardiac causes and there can be pulmonary causes. Okay, cardiac causes and pulmonary causes of decreased oxygen saturation. What will be the cardiac causes? You have got these Fallot's tetralogy. This is the most common cyanotic congenital heart disease, isn't it? Fallot's tetralogy. Anything else? Eisenmenger syndrome. What happens in Eisenmenger syndrome? Eisenmenger syndrome, when there is a reversal of shunt, isn't it? Reversal of shunt, like usually in the patients of VSD and all, when there is the presence of this shunt in the interventricular septum, or the present in the ASD, when there is the in the interarterial septum, when there is the presence of shunt, the blood flows from the left side to right side. But in case if there has been the development of pulmonary hypertension and the blood flow reverses, okay, from right side to left side, this is called as Eisenmenger syndrome. So in Eisenmenger syndrome, this deoxygenated blood from right side mixes with this oxygenated blood in the left side, and now this deoxygenated blood will go into the circulation. So obviously the oxygen saturation, the amount of oxygen carrying capacity of the hemoglobin, that will reduce. Okay, so Eisenmenger syndrome is also one of the cardiac causes. Pulmonary causes, yes, pulmonary causes, any type of chronic cases like chronic bronchitis. Okay, chronic bronchitis. And what else? Like interstitial lung disease, sorry. Interstitial lung disease. Okay, so these are some of the pulmonary causes. And as I told you, abnormal hemoglobin like methemoglobinemia, okay, sulf-methemoglobinemia, some abnormal hemoglobin, so responsible for central cyanosis. And what did I say you for peripheral cyanosis? Peripheral cyanosis occurs when the peripheral blood flow. Okay, so there is diminished peripheral blood flow. The blood reaching the peripheries, okay, so that is diminished. Now, why will the peripheral blood flow be diminished? It can be either there is exposure to cold. I'll take another class on Raynaud's. This Raynaud's disease. You'll see how these patients of Raynaud's disease, they have this, like these, they have got the cyanosis, the peripheral cyanosis mainly affecting these fingers. Okay, so Raynaud's disease, excessive exposure to cold, certain drugs, okay, peripheral vascular disease. What else? Shock, heart failure, okay, mitral stenosis. In mitral stenosis, what happens? There is peripheral blood flow. Okay, so this is reduced. Why peripheral blood flow is reduced in mitral stenosis? From reduced cardiac output, isn't it? Reduced cardiac output. The cardiac output is reduced in mitral stenosis. As well as in shock also, the cardiac output is reduced. Isn't it? These are some of the cases of peripheral cyanosis. Clear? And I told you how will you distinguish. Mainly when you see the peripheral central cyanosis, usually we observe the tongue and the mucous membranes. If the tongue and mucous membrane is involved, it's a central cyanosis. If the tongue and mucous membranes is not involved, usually it is a case of peripheral cyanosis. It's a very important thing. And secondly, we see the extremities, temperature of the limb. If the temperature of the limb is warm, it's central cyanosis. If the temperature of the limb, because here mainly the blood flow in the periphery is decreasing, so if the blood flow in the peripheries will decrease, obviously the temperature in the limbs will go down. Okay, it will be cold, so you'll find the extremities are cold in patients of peripheral cyanosis. Okay, so these are some of the ways you differentiate between the central and the peripheral cyanosis. Clear? Okay, next let us come against some more terms. There is something which is called as differential cyanosis. Have you heard about this term, differential cyanosis? What happens in differential cyanosis is that this is the cyanosis occurring only in the, just here, like this is cyanosis occurring in the upper limb. But in differential cyanosis, it is the opposite. You will find the cyanosis is present in the lower limbs. Here the cyanosis is present, but the cyanosis is not present in the upper limbs. This situation, it is seen in the patients of PDA, patent ductus arteriosus, where there is a reversal of shunt. with reversal of shunt. So you find this differential cyanosis, right? Similarly, you can also find cyanosis in the patients of PDA, where there is cyanosis of only upper limbs. Okay, but mainly differential cyanosis refers to cyanosis of lower limbs and not in the upper limbs. Clear? Okay, next, what else? So this is important, and this is all about your cyanosis. I think I've just covered all the basic points here. Okay. So I just told you about the central cyanosis, peripheral cyanosis, causes, how will you differentiate them? Okay, and what is differential cyanosis? And the treatment you'll treat accordingly. Okay, so if it's you'll find out central cyanosis, then what is the cause of central cyanosis? If it's a peripheral cyanosis, what is the cause of peripheral cyanosis? So accordingly, you're going to treat the patient. This is all about it.